That was the first time for me that I'd really smoked marijuana. And I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. It was fabulous.
The Beatles' relationship with cannabis started off unremarkably in 1960, after their first trip to Hamburg. The band was offered marijuana by an older drummer in Liverpool, but their initial experience was underwhelming. George Harrison recalled the moment. "We smoked it in the band room in a gig in Southport. Everybody was saying this stuff isn't doing anything." Cannabis didn't make much of an impression on them at the time, remaining a minor presence in their lives as they focused on other substances like preludin. However, as the Beatles began playing outside of Liverpool, cannabis started to appear more frequently in their circle. Bob Wooler, the DJ at the Liverpool's Cavern Club, noted that while the local drug scene was initially dominated by amphetamines, the Beatles occasionally brought back cannabis from their trips down south, helping to slowly integrate the drug into the Liverpool drug scene. One of their early encounters with cannabis took place on New Year's Day 1962, during a grueling 10-hour drive from Liverpool to London, for their ill-fated Decca audition. During the trip, a couple of shady characters tried to join them in their van to smoke cannabis. At the time, the drugs was still unfamiliar to the Beatles, reflecting its relatively low profile in mainstream British society. The turning point for the Beatles and cannabis came on the 28th of August 1964, when Bob Dylan introduced the band to the drug during a meeting at New York's Delmonico Hotel. Misunderstanding the lyrics of "I Want to Hold Your Hand, I Get High" instead of "I Can't Hide," Dylan assumed they were already familiar with the drug. After a brief moment of confusion, Dylan rolled a joint and passed it to John Lennon, who handed it to Ringo Starr. Not knowing the etiquette, Ringo finished the entire joint, leading Dylan to quickly roll more. The effects were immediate and profound, with Brian Epstein famously declaring, "I'm so high I'm on the ceiling." Paul McCartney, deeply moved by the experience, insisted on having their roadie Mal Evans write down their thoughts, which culminated on the mysterious note, "There are 7 levels," a phrase that would later amuse the band, but also hinted the introspective depth that cannabis would bring to their music.
So when we met him, by that time we'd heard much more of him and knew much more about him.
It was a great honor to meet him. We had a crazy party the night we met.
That was the first time for me that I'd really smoked marijuana. And I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. It was fabulous.
I thought I got the meaning to life that night. And I went around trying to find our roadie. Mal, get a pencil and a paper. I've got it. And Mal, because we're a bit out of it, he couldn't find a pencil and paper anywhere. But eventually, in the end of the evening, he found it, and I wrote down my message for the universe, I said, "Now keep that in your pocket." And Mal did. Next morning, he said, "Hey, Paul," he said, "do you want to see that?" I said, "What?" He said, "That bit of paper." "Oh, yeah." And I'd written, "There are 7 levels."
Hi, sorry to interrupt the video. Just a very quick, very important announcement. I published a book. That's right, I published a book. It's called From the Cavern to Abbey Road, a journey through the Beatles' iconic landmarks. In this book, we see the story of the Beatles from the places where everything happened. Some of them are famous, like let's say Abbey Road Studios, and some of them perhaps not so famous, like for example the art gallery where John and Yoko met. I put a lot of work and effort into this book, and it would help me so much if you grabbed a copy. It's available on Amazon all around the world, so if you want your copy, please go to the link in the description. Thank you. Now back to the video.
By then we were smoking marijuana for breakfast at that period, and we were well into marijuana, and nobody could communicate with us because it was just 4 glazed eyes giggling all the time, in their own world.
John, how was the trip over? Did you all get bored on the flight, or do you have things that usually keep you entertained that you all were doing?
Well, we got stoned.
All right. No, I know you're only kidding.
I'm not.
By the time they were filming Help in 1965, the Beatles' cannabis use had reached a new height. significantly impacting their work. John Lennon later confessed that they were smoking marijuana for breakfast. The band was often too stoned to remember their lines, forcing director Richard Lester to adopt creative filming techniques to work around their frequent bouts of laughter and forgetfulness. The Beatles referred to smoking weed as having a laugh, and in 1965 they were having a laugh more often than not. That year they recorded Rubber Soul. John Lennon later called it the Pot album. John Lennon also said that when the Beatles went to Buckingham Palace to meet the Queen and become members of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, they all smoked a joint in the bathroom to calm their nerves. While they were on tour, the Beatles roadies Mal Evans and Neil Aspinall carefully concealed marijuana inside normal cigarettes. The drug was not as popular as it is today, and therefore they never had any trouble crossing borders. Cannabis also began influencing their songwriting, making it more introspective and mellow. Songs like Got to Get You Into My Life became an ode to weed, according to Paul McCartney, and references to getting high crept into tracks like With a Little Help from My Friends and She's a Woman. This shift in their music mirrored their growing advocacy for cannabis, which culminated in their public support for legalization in 1967. However, the band's embrace of cannabis wasn't without its challenges. On the 18th of October 1968, John Lennon and Yoko Ono were arrested for cannabis possession while staying at Ringo Starr's London flat in Montague Square. Lennon pleaded guilty to protect Yoko Ono from being deported. The following year, George and Patty Harrison faced a similar situation, leading to suspicions that the drugs had been planted by police officer Norman Pilcher. Cannabis played a significant role in the Beatles' evolution, both musically and personally, as it became a key part of their journey through the 1960s. Their experiences with the drug not only shaped their creative output, but also placed them at the forefront of the growing conversation about drug use and its place in society. So this is pretty much it for now. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook. There is a PayPal link for donations. Of course, every donation will be absolutely appreciated. You can also buy my book. Actually, that would make me very happy indeed. The Amazon link is in the description. Or the free option is just to subscribe to this YouTube channel and maybe click the bell icon so you're the first to know when I upload new videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Well, I'm afraid that's us run out of time.
Oh,
I'm really sorry.
Well,
So,
thanks.
Bye, everyone.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I give my heart to you, I must be sure from the very start that you